Brought to you direct from Studio 3B at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, the American Hardwood Advisor is your source for trends, tips, and insights into how the building industry has evolved. Join me, Steve Stack, along with guest builders and industry leaders as we talk shop and go in depth on what it takes to be the best of the best. Dive into topics like architecture, industry trends, project plans, historical tools, tricks of the trade, and life's lessons from more than 6 decades of experience in the hardwood lumber business. Hey folks, Steve Stack back in Studio 3B with our friend Chris Filardi from Come On Media and Renovation Hunters on the Outdoor Channel. And we've made some great friends over the last 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. And as God would have it, he introduced us to a very special family on Project 3 of Season 2. And the Clear family, Teresa and her daughters and son. And they, in turn, brought to light the seriousness of ALS, and Renovation Hunters being what you are, you took the reins and ran with it. And take us through a little bit of that and some of the work that you've started to do and are laying groundwork for with Renovation Hunters and ALS Foundation.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. I would say it's a long story, but I'll break it up into small pieces. I mean, the reality is we went into Linesville knowing that the father passed away, but not knowing how or why or anything. And it wasn't until we got to know them that we recognized or learned that he died of ALS and that he worked his whole career to provide his family with this respite out by a lake that the family and the kids and the grandkids could all be together. And then, he gets ALS and unfortunately passes away. So the house has a little bit of, in their minds at least, that's where their father passed away. And so we wanted to change that view, that image of the house. We want to give the kids something that they could use. And so that was really a grounding design element that we put in. But then what happened was I had a conference call with our team and we asked if anybody knew anything about ALS because I didn't. And we found out that Alex, one of our crew members, had his father-in-law, his name is Randy Toombs, who was a contractor all his life, who's currently dealing with ALS in Indianapolis, or Indiana rather. And he is a very special guy. So we asked Alex about it and I said, hey, can we talk to your dad and stuff? And then him and Kevin came up with the idea, since he was a contractor, let's bring him out. Let's bring him and his crew out and they could help us because we did need to do some contract work. So at that point, I didn't meet him yet. I called ALS and I'm like, hey, what do you got? Like, how do I know more about this? So Melanie, who's wonderful, answered the phone with ALS and she explained to me how they work and what they did. And she said, well, what's your objectives? I said, I don't really have any. I just want to make sure that people understand how cool these people are and what they're going through. And so she got me up to speed on the ALS mission, what they do. And we decided that we would partner with them as part of the show, again, to put the word out there. And the word out there for them is that they're one of the few charities that I know of that have a legacy of investment and charity that actually produce results. So everybody probably you remember the Ice Bucket Challenge they did.
Right.
They're coming up on their 10-year anniversary for the Ice Bucket Challenge in May of next year. When they did that, and again, I don't know if the numbers are confidential. I'll give you kind of Filardi math, as I call it, but they imagine a business that was doing X with what they could generate from, charity events and walkathons and all that. Well, they 3 or 4 timed it in 8 weeks because of that campaign. The power of the Ice Bucket Challenge and where the world was with internet at the time and going viral and all that made a big difference. Well, now they're so they made this money, which was significant, more than they made previously. They put it to it. After 10 years, They literally have 3 drugs that are on the market because of that campaign. So they invested that money into the development of drugs that are actually being there. Fast forward, Randy Toombs, who we talked about, Alex's father-in-law, who helped us on the site, he's actually didn't know anything about it, didn't really participate. I think his family participated in the Ice Bucket Challenge before he had it. And then when he got it, he's actually using one of the drugs now that they developed. So over the 10 years, the ALS group has done a ton of stuff. So we partnered with them. We're going to try to raise awareness of this terrible disease. I like to have fun whenever I can. And when I met Randy Toombs, the first thing is he's got this contraption that every guy that loves the outdoor wants to ride, right? And so in my head, I'm like, I want to ask him to ride that. And he kind of looked at me, he goes, "You want to try this, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I do." I'm talking about 10 minutes into meeting the guy. And then he basically stands up and says, "Go ahead." So I'm driving the tractor around. Everybody's looking at me like, "You're crazy." I'm like, it was so much fun. So anyways, we got to know each other really well. And he contributed a lot. After that, we were able to participate in a couple of walkathons with ALS, with Randy and with various members of the Claire family. And again, you don't know what this thing is going to happen when you do a show like that, but this came out of it. And I would encourage everyone who knows nothing about ALS to look it up. It's way more than Lou Gehrig's disease. They have created lots of solutions. They're coming up with a huge campaign next year for their 10th anniversary. We are going to ask people to participate in it. We'll be happy if you just learn and pass on the word of what a terrible disease it is and what we can do to fix it. Obviously, donations would help for them. That's not what we're about. What we're about is just communicating the message so people understand the scope and magnitude of the disease and what it does for families, but more importantly, that there's hope. I mean, the way of life of someone that has ALS is improving significantly in the last 10 years, significantly. It's still a tough one, and it's hard to beat. But the drugs and the way that they've learned how to interact with these patients has really helped them through it and helped their families through it. So we just touched that a little bit with Renovation Hunters, but fabulous experience, and we're looking forward to seeing next year what we can do, getting the word out.
Very well said, Chris. Folks, Baird Brothers across all of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Renovation Hunters, same Instagram, Facebook, Renovation Hunters on TV, the Outdoor Channel, BairdBrothers.com. We're going to share some important messages with you folks from here on out concerning ALS, and hey, jump on board, participate with us. We'd appreciate it. Till next time, thank you. For all you folks listening, thanks for talking shop with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to stay up to date with the American Hardwood Advisor Series, give us a like and subscribe. For more tips, projects, and inspiration, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or at BairdBrothers.com. Until next time,